Welcome to Matters Financial and Geopolitical from a Frontier. Good morning from Nairobi. Political reflections. I'm a great fan of Nancy Pelosi. I think she's a remarkable character, and I think the president has met his match. Without speaking a word, you've got to watch this, it's 1 minute and 40 seconds. Without speaking a word, here's how Nancy Pelosi's response to Trump's State of the Union address took the spotlight. It's just extraordinary. I think, I tweeted, my God, she might be a grandmother. No offense to grandmothers, but my God, she is a babe. Who knew clapping could convey rage, disdain, and threats of revenge? And finally, congratulations to Speaker Pelosi for inventing the F-U-C-K-U clap. Financial Times' Edward Luce writes, the speech of a president whose power is draining. Once a year, Trump gives an uncharacteristically bipartisan speech to Congress that is customarily sandwiched, often within hours, by venomous expressions of partisanship. Mr. Trump's 2019 State of the Union was no exception. Early in the day, the president described Chuck Schumer, the Senate Democratic leader, as a nasty son of a bitch, and Joe Biden, the former vice president, as dumb. A few hours later, he called on Americans to rekindle the bonds of love and loyalty and memory that link us together. The puzzle is why he bothers to go through the motions. Perhaps even Mr. Trump, the noisiest iconoclast ever to occupy the White House, feels bound by the weight of tradition. It was the speech of a president whose power is rapidly draining. He insisted on Tuesday night that I'll get it, the wall built. He has backed himself into a corner from which there is no escape. Without a wall, Mr. Trump's base will drift away, yet he can only fund one by manufacturing a crisis he is almost certain to lose. As for the traditional laundry list of presidential to-do items, most Americans will struggle to name a single one 48 hours from now. The speech was remarkably light on specifics, even by Mr. Trump's standards. Two things are clear. The first is that Mr. Trump will bill the election as a battle between him and a socialist. We were born free and we will stay free, he said on Tuesday. The second is that this will take place against the backdrop of a missing wall. This is an interesting tweet from Shona Tiger, who I follow in Zimbabwe. Geopolitics is annoying Venezuela Russia. It's an interesting insight into the thinking of Sechin and therefore the thinking of Putin. Interesting article in Rand Corporation, Russia's hostile measures in Europe. Different regions of Europe pose different problems in terms of Russian threats and approaches. Talking about the Baltic states, NATO, EU, all being vulnerable to Russian influence, well worth reading in full. December 2016, I said, at this moment, President Putin has Fortress Europe surrounded. The intellectual father of the new zeitgeist that propelled Brexit, Le Pen, five-star movement in Italy, Geert Wilders, who in a plot twist lost one of his cohorts to Islam, would you believe, is Vladimir Putin. In the Middle East, it is Putin who's calling the shots, and in a quite delicious irony, it looks like he has pocketed OPEC as well. It's official, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018 were the 4 warmest years on record. That takes me back to November 2015 when I said I cannot help feeling we are like frogs in boiling water. Global average surface temperature in 2018 was approximately 1 degree Celsius above the pre-industrial baseline. That took me back to the marvelous weather project by Olafur Eliasson. Have a look at that photograph, kind of sums it up, doesn't it?